of Ian is a Weirdo or Ian is Weird, depending on where you're watching this. I am currently making a hat using my work in progress ribbon awareness hat or awareness ribbon hat. Um, and I figured I'd just get on here and talk to you all for a little bit. Sorry, I ate my lunch really fast. So, um, yeah, if you want to hang out, chit chat, I've got a lot of things cooking right now. The first and most pressing is that I'm doing a giveaway. If you want to enter, it is a bunch of yarn. I'm also thinking about throwing in some other things, um, just for fun, for shiggles, if you will, shits and giggles. So if you want to enter the giveaway, it's very easy. You do need to be US based because I can't afford non-domestic shipping. I apologize for that. I'm poor. But it is a big box of yarn and there's a lot of good yarn in it. So if you're interested, please feel free to check out that video. The link is in the description. Hey, Roberta, welcome in. Um, also, another thing on the fire is I asked Instagram and whoever, Facebook, whoever wants to give advice or have a suggestion of what kind of makeup I should do for tonight. Obviously, it is Halloween, which is the most important day of the year, if you ask me. So I haven't really done a whole lot of spooky makeup. I haven't been like super inspired by a lot of like what I'm seeing because I feel like I'm seeing a lot of like the same looks just kind of done like slightly different ways. So like if someone has a suggestion, that would be great because then it would feel a little bit more like fresh to me. Um, so yeah, there's that. So if you have any ideas of what makeup I should do, feel free to pop it in the chat. You can go on my Instagram. If you have Instagram and you don't follow me and you would like to, put that in the description box below. I also have another channel. I'm streaming on both channels right now. So the only difference between the two tags is one is Ian is a weirdo, the other one is Ian is a weirdo, and then the number 2. So they're really easy. If you follow one but don't follow the other, feel free because I'm moving towards that one. I think this is probably going to be my last giveaway on Ian is a weirdo because I just kind of feel like happy Halloween, yay! Because I just kind of feel like this channel is a little stagnant, and I just kind of want to get the ball rolling with something new and fresh. So that's what's going on with that. I am currently writing the awareness ribbon hat pattern. I wanted to have it done by the end of October, and I might barely make that deadline. So, but luckily, you don't need a month or anything to tell you, you know, to bring awareness to any cause. So, so hopefully this pattern will be helpful for people who are interested in that. I'm currently, so if you don't know what the awareness ribbon hat looks like, it looks like this. And it has a bunch of ribbons and a little pom-pom on top, which of course is optional. I really like it. It fits me perfectly. Uh, just gonna ignore that call. And I also included the multiple, so you can change it to any size that you want. If you're making it for someone who has a smaller head or bigger head than I do. I did do a foundation double crochet, so there's a fair amount of stretch in the brim of the hat because I find that if I just do chains, like I always, it like never works out for me. So it always never works out for me. I also have 2 fundraisers going, one for To Write Love on Her Arms, and the other is for the Susan G. Komen, or B. Komen, there's an initial in there. So if you want to and can donate, yeah, exactly. There's so many things you can bring awareness to. So like really your options are limitless as far as I'm concerned. So uh I think that, yeah, I think that this would be a fun project for anyone. I think it is probably a more intermediate pattern simply because of like how difficult it is to explain what I'm doing. I don't think what I'm doing is like that difficult in nature, but to describe it, and I'm gonna have a lot of pictures. I know they help me when I read patterns, and I've gotten that feedback from other people before about like making sure I have more pictures to describe what the fuck I'm talking about. So so yeah. So I'm gonna continue working on this hat. Again, this is for Prostate Cancer Awareness Month, and hopefully this pattern can help people make hats or whatever they want to make with this pattern. But yeah, so like I said, lots of coals in the fire or whatever the expression is. And yeah, so I want to do a fun makeup look tonight. I want people who want to enter the giveaway to be able to do that. People can donate to the fundraisers. That, of course, is great. Um, so there's a lot of different uh, things going on that I'm just trying to keep track of personally. Once this month is over, so tomorrow, I'm going to remove the fundraiser links from my description. Not that you can't watch old videos and donate whenever you want, but just to kind of clean it up a little bit. Um, and I mostly wanted to continue my fundraisers into October because I was you're a busy person these days. Yeah. Well, I'm really trying to stay busy because if I'm not busy, my mind kind of wanders to a pretty dark place, and I'm not quite. I don't quite know what to do with that. So yeah. So something I thought of today, which like I am the king of harebrained schemes. And like not schemes necessarily to take advantage of anyone, but just like I'm always looking for like opportunities to do more than I currently do. So that's why you'll always see me trying to like do more. Um and one of the things I was thinking is like one, like, I can't go back to school, like, just because like, my brain just doesn't function like that anymore, but a lot of people, like, something I'm struggling with personally is finding, like, self-love and self-purpose and self-acceptance, and I know I probably seem like a pretty confident person most of the time, but I'm really not, and I really have, like, 0 self-esteem. So, so I started thinking about what I could do to find purpose in this life as someone who's disabled. And I was like, well, what about life coaching? And this popped out of nowhere. Um, so I I started looking into it. You don't technically need to be licensed, but most people are just so that they can get clients in the door. But I was thinking, like, I could be a life coach. I could do some training. I could start helping people. I could make sure that I was affordable so that people who don't have the financial means to, go to therapy and things like that, although I definitely wouldn't be a replacement for a therapist. But if people have issues that can be solved or helped by a life coach, doing that for them, I thought, hey, maybe I could do that. Because a lot of people have given me feedback that I give good advice and I take none of my own. So I was like, well, what can I do if I give good advice? I could be a life coach. So, which I guess is now called like a health and wellness coach or something. But basically the same thing, just kind of helping people get their lives back on track and feel a little bit better about themselves. I feel like pretty qualified already just due to the experiences I've had in the mental health industry. Um, but I do think that being licensed um, by some of like the like accredited um, associations would be helpful, um, because then I could look, more professional, and then I could also get some experience, like kind of giving like the right kind of advice, because a lot of people like to give advice, but it's not always the right advice. It's not always the right way to go about it. So, learning more about how to be like a good life coach might be a positive thing for me. I don't know. Um, so yeah, so that is something that I am looking into. We'll see how that shakes out. I think the person who just called me um, is one second, is one of the life coach people. Okay, but I contacted a couple people, and we'll see, what that works, how that works out. But bringing affordable mental health care in any capacity is something that I am really passionate about, and I don't want to take advantage of someone's hardship and to simply for like financial gain. So I think having been in the system for a long time, it's probably the best thing I can do. So yeah, so I am currently on row uh, 5, I think, of the pattern. And it's so hard because there's like a front and back to like certain aspects of it. But it's a really cool pattern because you get to see things kind of take shape, and you're kind of making something that's a little bit more 3D into like a 2D type kind of project, which usually we're doing the opposite, right? Where we're um, making something 2D look 3D. So, yeah. Are you working on anything right now, Roberta? I never work with blues. I know this is like a weird thing, and if you notice, there's quite a bit of blue in my giveaway box. I just never like think to use blue. I don't know why. Like it's just not. I mean, it's not a color that I use that often. So it's kind of like weird to see like so much blue. um, but obviously, I wanted to do something to kind of balance out like the natural feminine energy of like the breast cancer awareness. Even though anyone can get a snowman along with a mosaic. Oh, so cool. Um, I think for this this holiday season, so November and December, I want to pull Halloween into my designs, um, for like all my projects, because I feel like I didn't really get to celebrate Halloween this year. As like most of you know, Halloween is like my favorite time of the year, and I just had a pretty bad month this month. And normally I love October because it's my birthday and I get to go to the state fair and um, frog the elephant, but I think I figured out the mouth. Oh, that's good. I mean, not good that you had to frog it, but I mean, I'm glad you figured out the mouth. Making your own patterns is tough, even sometimes following along with some patterns is tough because you're like, what are you even talking about? So, also last year, I think I wanted to do more um, funny or like gag gifts and stuff like that. So I think that maybe that'll be incorporated into what I do this year. It really is like highly dependent on my mood this year. As you know, a lot of you know, I've been having a lot of depression this year just because this month didn't really go the way I had planned it to. And I needed to go to a residential treatment facility to kind of get my head on straight, which, no shame in the game. It's just kind of what happens sometimes. And it just kind of threw me off for the whole entire month, where I just felt like I couldn't like really enjoy anything this month. So I want to just like make sure that Halloween gets the respect it deserves. Rainbow hat developing in the back of your mind. Ooh, I can't wait to see that. Um, so, yeah, you're so creative. I love it. Um, yeah, so I want to get back to doing some more alternative stuff. Now, I was going to go to the Renaissance. Yeah, make you priority. Yeah, I know. It turned out to be like a really like bad place. Like not necessarily for me, but it was just kind of a very underdeveloped program. They did not have good protocol like with the staff. Like the staff would be like highly inappropriate with you, not in like a, I don't know, like it seemed like they didn't have the skills to deal with people who are actually struggling with their mental health, because it originally started as like a detox and rehab center, and then they tacked on mental illness because so many people who have addiction issues also have mental health issues. But it was clear to kind of see almost immediately that they were so much more well equipped for addiction that they didn't really know how to deal with people who had like non-dual diagnoses, So, um, yeah, I wouldn't recommend that place to anyone, addict or otherwise. Because I just saw them like violate a lot of like probably human rights, I guess is the best way to put it. But yeah, so I was able to self advocate, and that made a huge difference in my experience. But there were some people who were there and so mentally ill that they could not self advocate, and I saw them really get fucked over by the system. So it really sucks to see that. It really sucks that, they had this opportunity to be like a better program and they weren't. But they're only like 3 months old, or they were when I went. So like they're still very like they're still growing and learning, and like all programs, like have to start from somewhere. But it just was clear that that was not the focus. So I chose it. They kind of talked a lot about what I would get in the intake call, and like not a lot of that was delivered. Like, oh, you'll meet with your therapist once or twice a week. Oh, you'll see a psychiatrist, and it's like, or like regularly to like help you adjust with your meds. And it was like, there was someone who was there for 4 weeks who never saw a therapist. And like 4 weeks was like the length of the program, the 28-day program. Um, and I was there primarily for medication management, so it was like not a whole lot is gonna happen. Hey Tammy, ooh, getting ready for trick or treaters. Um, so I picked it because of what they said. they would give. And also, I had a lot of trouble finding places that I felt comfortable at because I'm trans. And so, one place in Florida, the first place I called, I think, or one of the first, like, they were basically like ready to take me in, and they're like, wait, they asked for my medication list, and testosterone's on my medication list because I take testosterone because I'm a trans man and I want to take testosterone. And and they were like, because of like DeSantis's laws that he's put into place, you actually can't take HRT here. And I was like, well, go fuck yourself. Bye. And then I called a bunch of different places, and a lot of them had 2 bedrooms or 2 beds in a bedroom in a room. And I was like, I really don't want to be placed with like anyone else because I just don't feel safe. Um, and like some places were separated where they had male ward and a female ward, and like so like I don't want to make anyone feel uncomfortable, but I also don't want to be like in like the girls group. Like I'm not a girl, so I don't want that. And so I called like places all over the country. And then finally, this place was like, oh, yeah, we have experience with trans people. It's our first priority to like give you your own room and stuff like that. So, like, that's actually like the major reason why I went there. And it wasn't a great place, but at least I found a place. It wasn't all bad. I did gain a lot of insight due to both the people there and like who were patients, and then also I tried to get as much as I could out of groups. I figure if I'm paying for it, I should just get as much as I can out of it, even if I like disagree with like a lot of how the program is run. So it was a good time to take time for myself, but I was pretty much ready to get out of there like day 2 or 3. Like that's how quickly I realized how bad things were, and then things just got progressively worse, um, as I watched like a bunch of my peers kind of get screwed over time and time again from mismanagement, poor communication, poor training. It was a mess. So I'm really hoping that they can get some feedback that they'll actually be able to use and grow. Um, use what you learned in your life, coach. Yeah. Yeah, and that's exactly what I think I have the opportunity to lend people is like an insight into how certain things are treated, like my experience with different therapy modalities, and just kind of like helping people kind of get their life on the right track, even though that's something I'm struggling with myself. I think that I can learn by expressing things to people who are in similar positions to me. Um, what I wish I would have known. A lot of people, they don't get diagnosed with a lot of mental illnesses until later in life, and they're lost. They feel very confused. I had the fortunate circumstance that I was diagnosed very early, and my diagnosis was actually pretty straightforward. Um, but uh, I know that a lot of people are not that way, haven't had that experience, got diagnosed later on after they've made, several mistakes in their life that they couldn't quite explain why they did it. They just, you know, they just, yeah, just haven't had the chance to, you know, learn about the system and how to navigate it, and it's pretty overwhelming. So, if I can offer any insight to someone that would help them out, that would be great. And if I could be qualified to do so, that would be even better. Um, so I'm thinking about doing that, and we'll see how it goes. But maybe it's just kind of a pipe dream and it'll kind of fade into the background in a little bit. That's okay, but it can't hurt to kind of like look forward to potentially having something where I can help people in a more formal capacity. So, yeah, lots of coals. Is that the expression? Am I using that right? Coals on the fire? Or is it like irons on the fire? Maybe irons. I don't know. Either way, shit's on fire. So Mel and I were gonna go to the Renaissance Fair in our state, the big one in our state, with my younger sister and her boyfriend. And we talked about doing a group costume. We were gonna do like a Renaissance version of like the Scooby Doo gang because we all love Scooby Doo like intensely. Irons on the fire. Okay, that's what I thought once I said it, but I wasn't sure. um, I think it's probably like a blacksmithing thing, but I don't know. Um, so we were gonna go to Scooby Doo gang, and I was really excited because I wanted to be Shaggy, but everyone's like, "You have yellow hair, you should do Fred," and I was like, "Oh, I don't want to be Fred." But also like I had imagined Shaggy as like a court jester, which there was an episode of Be Cool Scooby Doo where they did like a Renaissance fair, and they were all dressed up, so we could use that as a reference. And Shaggy was court jester, did have like a jester costume on. Temmie, I'm not sure if you have entered, if you want to enter, but the giveaway that I'm doing ends on November 2nd at midnight Eastern Standard Time. If you want to enter it, there the link for the video is at the very top of my description box. So I want to give everyone a fair chance to enter if they want to. But I can't remember if you've entered or not. Yeah, but we kind of have this problem with like uh, housing our dog while we're away. It's kind of a long story, so I won't bore you with it. But I don't think we're gonna go. Plus, like, it would be really expensive to make the costume that I wanted to make. Because if I was gonna do Fred, I wanted to do like a knight and do like foam, like full foam armor, and have like a helmet of like feathers. And I really wanted to go like all out, and it just would be so expensive to do that. And then also we'd have to get a hotel room in Charlotte, and like that would be expensive. So um, I think Mel and I have just decided that we're probably not going to do that, just because it's not really in the budget forecast for us. Okay, if you did, then I probably, I mean, if I liked your comment, I saw it. So yeah, I just want to make sure everyone got their shot. Okay. Not having money sucks. Yeah. It does indeed. But, I should be used to it by now, but I'm not. Oh, if you haven't heard, I did get my disability hearing date. Um, so I have a meeting with my lawyers who are representing me at the hearing. I have a meeting with them mid-November, and then my hearing date is December 4th. And I had this like last minute idea of something that I could provide as like, did you see my Halloween post on Facebook? I saw the turkey. That was you, right? Let's see. Okay, let's see. Oh, oh, that's cute. Oh, I love that. Oh my gosh, so cute. Oh, that's so cute. Yeah, you also posted the turkey, which is super cute, but I'm never gonna give up Halloween. Yeah. Oh, I love the witch's hands and like the skull. Oh, so cute. Nice. I really, really like that. You did a great job with that. One of my irons on the fire is that I haven't really been working on since I got back from treatment, which I need to get a move on that. Is this doll I'm making, and I just like I don't. I've been thinking, I'm like, how am I gonna do the hands? I have no idea because I've never done like small, tiny hands before, and I'm just pretty nervous about that. I don't know why that's freaking me out more so than like literally every other aspect of it, but like it's just, they're so small. So tonight, Mel and I are watching The Craft, which I'm excited for. We've been watching a lot of Halloween movies this year. Um, Maybe less than we normally do, but okay, you did enter. Thank you for checking, Timmy. Um, yeah, yeah, I know you're here on the regular, so I wanted to make sure you got to participate. So great, good news. Um, So yeah, just making this pattern. I'm almost done with the pattern. I just wanted to, like I said, redo the top because it's not bad. It's the top isn't bad. My decreases weren't like awful, but you can see that there's some larger holes, and I think that I want to decrease um, a little bit more, I guess, mindfully to eliminate those holes from being as bad as they are. So I'll probably switch to like a single. I think I used a double crochet and I decrease differently. So I'm gonna do a single crochet and decrease that way. And hopefully that'll solve kind of some problems because it's covered up by the pom pom right now. But I want to make sure that it's still a good hat, even if you don't put the pom-pom on it. If I had half of what your giveaway, I'd have lots of my projects done. Yeah, I get new yarn, every once in a while. Um, Probably more than I should or can afford. Um, but then I have these things that have been sitting on my shelf for like years, and like I'm not gonna use them. Why do I even have that? And then I have like a ton of blanket yarn, not a ton, but I have a good amount of like thick blanket yarn, and I just like it takes up so much room. So that was one of the things that I was gonna do, was give away some blanket yarn, but then I just was like, I it's just too big. It would take up so much room in the box, and then it would just be like a pure like blanket yarn giveaway. So I was looking for a way to share my giveaway on Facebook with people that I'm not necessarily like friends with on Facebook, and I joined this group. I'll so it's giveaway free yarn and supplies, and so some people are like, I'm getting rid of my collection, or like, I don't want this yarn, can I just like send it to you? And then other people are like looking for give like free yarn, and uh so that might be a great place to join if you're looking for some free yarn, because a lot of people are like, hey, like I need some, and people are just responding to it. It's really cool. And because intermittent depression sucks when, yes, I don't have intermittent depression. I can't say those two words together for some reason. Um, but I have bipolar depression, and I think depression looks a lot of. Okay, so it's on Facebook, and it's called. I'll type it in. So like all you need to do is like search that on Facebook if you're on Facebook, and you can join that group. And yeah, I was pretty surprised at how many people were like, "Hey, I need free yarn." People were just like, "Okay, where do you live?" And I'll see if I can send it to you. Like that's really cool. And am I gonna do that? Yeah. It's like one thing happens, then another. Absolutely, yeah. It's just like it feels like the universe is like working against you, even though you're trying so hard to like pull yourself out of the mud and out of the quicksand that depression causes. And it's just like sometimes you just feel like you can't catch a break. And I totally understand that. Um, Depression is really difficult to deal with, and I think a lot of people, especially this time of year, experience that. Um, and it can take away your creativity, it can take away your appetite, your sleep, it can change so much in your life. And making sure that you're taking care of yourself first and foremost is definitely gotta be your priority. um, Having a good support system of friends, family, loved ones that can help you and know what you need, even if you don't know how to ask for it. I think that those are the types of things that we take for granted. Guess what it says I'm good at? I don't know. I don't even know what like a skills assessment test would look like. So what are you good at? Is it like communication or like? Yeah, so am I, for the most part. But I'm trying to reconnect with a lot of my friends that aren't on YouTube. Um, because I just realized that like it's so easy to become a shut in, and I don't want to be like that if I can help it. But the world is scary, not medical, but teaching. Oh, that's amazing. That's such a great skill to have. Not a lot of people, I mean, I'll change this. Not everyone has that ability. So I think that that's a really amazing ability to have. And I think that, I think that you can definitely use that to your advantage. And I hope that that insight helps you kind of figure out where your next step is. I think this was before you got in. I was telling Roberta that I was thinking of maybe looking into like getting certified as a life coach because it's little to no school, and I feel like I have a good lens into like mental health care. I've been doing that since fourth grade in Germany. That's so cool. Welcome back, Roberta. I can't get over that I'm using blue yarn. I don't know why. It's just like I never make anything blue unless I'm doing like blue hats for Hat Not Hate. Like I just never use blue. Thanks, Timmy. I really appreciate that. Can't do people. Yeah, it's definitely difficult. I I've noticed my tolerance for just certain types of people going down quite a bit. But at the same time, I feel like I'm more compassionate and empathetic than I've ever been. So it's really interesting to see those kind of two things happen at once because, some people, they just grate on my nerves and I just kind of like, I can't deal with you. Like, that's why it's like, so this disability hearing, the, the, uh, the other people, the Social Security disability people, like they're going to be trying to convince, I guess, the court or whatever that I am capable of doing a job, but I am like will be able to be like self sufficient. And the thing is, it's just not true. Like I can't think about being customer facing. Um, the good thing about, picking clients as a life coach is like you can kind of pick your own clients and pick your own people that you can, be around and stuff like that. And yeah, I mean, and granted, you got to deal with some people that you don't necessarily like to deal with, but like it can be, you can be like, hey, like I think, you know, we're not a great match, and I want you to, I don't want you to waste your money on uh, our relationship when you could be fostering that with someone else or something. So, but like I can't do enough of that to like support myself, which is why I would need so social security disability. But if I'm mission, get out of my way. Exactly. I went to Joanne the other day, and there were two people, and I just about ran out. Yeah, we went to Joanne with my sister, little sister, because we were gonna do the costumes. and Joanne, so it said online, it said they closed at 9. They've always closed at 9. It was a Saturday, like it, and then we went and they had all the lights were off. We're like, what? And it was, they closed at 5, and there was a hiring sign up. So I'm wondering if they just didn't have the staff to stay open. So we ended up going to Michael's, and I was like, they have some fabric, so it might get you started and stuff like that. So we found some fabric. The lady who was cutting the fabric was like very weird to us, and like wasn't super helpful. I was like I was having trouble reading the back of the pattern, like the measurements for it, because it was just really confusing how it was written. And so I was like, do you know how to read a pattern, like the back of a pattern? And she was like, no. And I was like, okay. And like she would like not really respond to like things that we were saying and like asking. And she was just kind of being rude, and she was an older woman. And I just was like, okay, like she's being kind of rude, but whatever. And then she was like, and you'll have to take this up front to the lady up front. Don't go up front and not go to the lady up front, because like then you'll have to go to the lady up front. And so I just was like, okay, because like the cutting counter was like really small and sandwiched between the yarn and the fabric. And so I was like, I thought she meant like I couldn't pay for the fabric there at the cutting counter, which I was like, okay. Um, but like, so I didn't really grasp what she was trying to say. And then when we checked out, so there's one checkout person working, and the rest of the stations are self checkout kiosks. And so we started to do the self checkout kiosk because someone was with the person. And like the lady came up to us again, was like, I told you all that this wasn't going to work, and now you have to go see that lady, and stuff like that. And like, we're all kind of just like standing there because it's me, Mel, my sister, and her boyfriend. And I was kind of just like it was like it was pretty petty, but I kind of brushed it off. But like my sister and her boyfriend both work in customer service and are very like, I guess like, I don't know, like I really don't know how this all transpired, but like it made my sister super mad, and like she was like, fuck that lady, and like stuff like that in like the middle of the store. And I'm like, because like I don't know what to do. And so my sister was like, I don't even want this stuff. She cut this fabric. She's got to put it back. Blah blah blah. So like we ended up leaving the store with nothing. And like my sister was so pissed off, and I was just like, man, if this is like, I mean, I'm not shit talking my sister, but like it was a very weird situation. And like she was pretty rude. Like the lady was pretty rude. And like, sorry I didn't speak in your very cryptic way of like acknowledging that this is what your store layout was like, because I don't go to Michael's that often, because I go to Joanne. I just like Joanne better. And so, and they usually have better deals. So yeah, I had no idea what she was talking about. And like it was pretty condescending in how she talked to us and stuff like that. And like I was just like, whatever. Yeah, and then we ended up having a pretty eventful night from there on. We were heading back from getting ice cream at this one place and saw a dog in the road. So we stopped, and my sister has like 3 dogs. One she's fostering, who's probably going to be a permanent fixture. And they're a handful. And I have a dog who's not necessarily friendly with a lot of male dogs. This was a male dog. And I have a cat. And, some you don't know if like a dog's going to get along with a cat or not. Like it's kind of, you know, a little intense sometimes. So we couldn't take the dog in. So like it was we took this dog. We went like maybe a mile away to this open emergency vet to see if he was microchipped and we could get him back to his owner. Um, and uh, when we walked in, the lady was like, "That dog was just here," and we're like, "Wait, what?" And so apparently, this guy had come in with this same dog, said, "Hey, I found this dog near Jordan Lake, which is like 45 minutes away from this emergency vet. It's like 11 o'clock at night." So, like, it was pretty odd that this would be like where they would go they, if if they were in fact coming from Jordan Lake. And then um, the guy found out that the dog wasn't microchipped. They did the scanning and like there was no microchip. She scanned again when we went, but the guy was like, "Okay, I'll take the dog with me," and apparently just dumped this dog out on the street a mile away from the clinic, and just was like, "I'm not looking for a dog." So that's how we found him, and then so it was really sad, like the whole situation. So we like had to figure out what to do, and like we didn't want to like introduce him to like all the dogs, that my sister has that she brought with her. So we kept him in a crate like in the garage, so at least he'd be like a little warm, and then gave him some food and water, because it was clear he was pretty dehydrated. And uh, luck it kind of like messed with everyone. Like my little sister was like so upset because she like loves dogs so much, and she just couldn't like imagine anyone doing that to a dog. I mean, I can't either. Like I'm not like a huge dog person, but like just like any animal, I can't imagine being treated like that. And then like you know it just everyone was kind of in a bad mood after that, and we're like contacting all of our friends, contacting shelters that were open, which were pretty much none. Apparently, the county that I'm in is having a like they're all of the county run shelters are closed due to like a case of like canine flu, or multiple cases of canine flu. So like no one would take him in. So we were just like, what the fuck are we gonna do? Like not just short term but long term. And then luckily the next day we were able to find the owner. The owner posted in like a lost and found pets group, and like exactly it was like the exact dog, and like they described the dog had a collar, but had no tags. So there wasn't like a number to call or anything like that. But it was very clearly like someone's pet. Like this was like a pet that someone had lost. And it turns out the person who um, was the dog's owner lived in like the neighborhood right next to where we found him. So it's like, it seems like this person um, that guy who said that he found him near Jordan Lake 45 minutes away was just lying. And I don't know. But long story short, that dog is now with his best friend, and, you know, things and such. So it worked out, but it was very stressful. And I literally thought I was going to explode with just like how many emotions I was feeling. It was intense, more intense than I usually like my Saturday nights to be. So, yeah. Um, so I'm gonna finish up this row, and then probably call it quits for now. I should be on later. I'm planning on doing a makeup. If you have any spooky makeup ideas, feel free to pop them in the chat because I'm just not feeling inspired by a lot of the things I'm seeing on like TikTok and Facebook and YouTube. Well, that's an interesting thing, but like also like why would he just dump the dog if he thought he would get a reward, you know? And why would like he see if he was micro? I guess he could see if he's microchipped. So then, if he stole it, he could, and it didn't have a microchip, he could get an reward. But I just think that he like didn't want a dog. He just found a dog and like brought it in. I don't know why he lied about where he found the dog, but like I'm so like confused by people and their motives, anyways, that I truly like don't understand people. Like they're awful. Beetlejuice. I did a Beetlejuice makeup actually, I think in September. So if you want to see that, let me see if I can find my my video where I did my Beetlejuice makeup. Because if that's the case, then you can just watch that if you want to do Beetlejuice makeup. I hated the wig I ended up using. I ended up using just my hair, natural hair. Um, but see if my lives will load. Okay, let's see. Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice. Okay, let me just see if I can search it. Okay, I guess I did it in July. Oh dear God. And I was starting my 100 days of Halloween. There it is. So yeah, I did a Beetlejuice. Just ignore the wig because it's bad. It's not the right anything. It's wrong. But I took it off later, and I just like to look better with my colored hair. Like a lot of people are doing like very like there's a lot of like stylistic eyeliner out there. People are doing a lot of crystals, which is fun, but like it takes forever and they take forever to take off, and I just don't really have the patience for that. Um, but I want to do something a little bit more spooky, Halloweeny, full face kind of event. And then I want to watch The Craft and eat pizza with my wife. Okay, my natural look is scary enough. No makeup needed. Yeah, I feel that. Yeah, I'm calling mine puberty 2.0. Okay, so we're at the 1 hour mark. Love you all. Hopefully I'll see you tonight. If I don't, it's just because I decided not to do makeup. And I'm gonna just hang out with Mel. So, I love you all, and I will talk to you later. Happy Halloween. Wow.